Hey there, welcome to the latest live edition of the Winner's Circle presented by Naira and Naira Bets, the official online betting partner of the Belmont Stakes and Saratoga Racecourse. I'm Bram Weinstein, that's Dan Torgman, and Dan is in lovely Saratoga. Look at you, Dan, look at you.
Only for a few more minutes. After the show wraps up, we're heading back to the city. It's been an awesome weekend here, though. It's beautiful. We got lucky. I was telling you before we started, it's rained here every weekend, and you just come to expect that. It does rain a whole lot, it seems, every summer. But races unaffected this weekend. Beautiful weather, like no complaints. This is the place to be.
All right, I'll get some story time from you in a little bit, but let's start with the races. We had a big one this weekend. 5-horse field in the Whitney, but it was a stacked 5-horse field in the Whitney, and yet Knicks Go made it look like a breeze. So check out the stretch run here from Saratoga on Saturday.
Knicks Go, challenged here by Swiss Skydiver, then Maxfield. Silver State is down at the rail. The field is at the 3/16th pole. It is Knicks Go, Silver State at the rail. Maxfield looks to split horses, then the filly Swiss Skydiver. Now an eighth of a mile to the finish, and it is Knicks Go out in the middle of the track and holding on to the lead here. It's Knicks Go with a wire-to-wire victory in the 94th running of the Grade 1 Whitney. Maxfield was second, and Silver State finished third. The mile and a furlong, 1 minute, 47 3/5 seconds.
All right, so we did the live stream the other day before it. This is the fear if you're any other horse at a race, is that he can do that, and he did it. Once this year, he didn't, and therefore there was just that shred of doubt that he wouldn't do that again. And yet he's back in a big way. So that warm up at the Cornhusker Prairie Meadows was very telling about what was coming. And I got to think that he's a massive favorite in the Classic this fall.
Yeah, I mean, he had to prove it. He had to prove that he could do it on this stage again, right? Like he basically went down to the minors for a race, right? For a little prep, for a little tune-up. Now came back up to the majors, and he knocked it out of the park. You always point to this, and credit to you, and I think that, you know, we've seen it with some of the horses coming back from Dubai over the years. We've seen it coming back from Saudi Arabia now. That first race back sometimes, and sometimes it's more than just one race. You know, you don't have a horse show up with a peak effort. That's what we saw at the Met Mile. You know, I think a lot of people, including myself, were quick to dismiss and say, you know what, look, Knicks Go went on an incredible run last year, finished out the year, you know, as an untouchable horse, would get to the front, could not be passed. He just showed again on Saturday that that's who he is. He's back to being himself. And if he can stay in this form, if he could stay this way through the Breeders' Cup, I don't know. I don't know who beats him.
So I'm not going to be the one to research this because I just don't have the time for it. But I do have a working theory that when you go over to the Middle East, there's something about this travel back and forth. It's almost without fail that the next couple of races, when they come back, they don't look like the same animal. And in the case of Knicks Go, he's bounced back here. In the case of others, they've never really come back from it. It's unusual. I mean, even going into the Derby, whenever someone wins one of the big races leading into it, they're never a factor in the Kentucky Derby. Like it's almost impossible to explain. So my non-scientific research project that I'll never actually do because I'm not a scientist is I pay attention and I notice this. And in this case, there's part of me that's kind of like, I'm glad to see that he's back because I wasn't sure he would be.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the most recent one that comes to mind, I obviously remember Arrogate going over and just running one of the most incredible races in racing history, like in all in the world ever, comes back and then, you know, is getting beat by horses at Del Mar who were half his stature. So yeah, I mean, look, Knicks Go, super impressive. The other thing that's worth mentioning is, you know, you had a horse like Maxfield run second in the race. Maxfield was a beast coming in, won the Stephen Foster for fun. So he's already punched his ticket to the Breeders' Cup. He's going. With this win, Knicks Go is obviously going. And you got a few other. Silver State, you know, maybe showed that he's perhaps a cut below. I don't think we've heard the last from him, but it was Steve Asmussen this weekend breaking the all-time record for most wins by a trainer. You know, it was a good enough weekend for Asmussen and that team, but a disappointing effort, I think, by Silver State. we'll see if they keep him on this path. He may not want to go as long, and he may not be able to go grade 1 at least if he's going this distance.
I mean, I don't know if Knicks Go can keep up this type of performances because they're great. I mean, he might be the best horse in the country right now. If he's going to continue to race into next year, I think he's got like gun runner California Chrome type earnings in front of him. Like if he can continue, because he's just going to be in big spot after big spot. And if he's going to win things like the Classic and win things like the Pegasus again, we're going to be staring down him climbing up the earnings chart at a very, very rapid pace.
Yeah, I meant to check it out. I was wondering like what his earnings are now. I'll pull it up real quick here. Just curious to see what he's earned to date. $5.36 million.
Yeah, so he's going to have a number of other huge hits, like to really kind of challenge that other stuff. But it feels like off of what we saw the other day and what it looks like heading into the fall. It depends how much longer he's going to race. Honestly, like that's really going to be the question. I mean, people forget like Gunrunner, he didn't win a Triple Crown race. It was his 4-year-old season where he started blowing people out, and so I think Knicks Go's got this opportunity here too, but he's going to have to end up big spot after big spot and keep this up.
The other cool thing about Knicks Go is a Maryland bred. You don't see too many Maryland breds reaching this level in racing. And, everybody, I don't know if you remember, in 2018, he won the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, which was, before the Breeders' Cup when he finished second at an astronomical price. But he won that race, the Breeders' Futurity, at 40 or 50 to 1. And everyone's like, oh, it's a fluke. I mean, so even when he did that, people thought it was a fluke. His form did drop off, I think, significantly for the rest of his, first 3-year-old year. But then obviously with Brad Cox, he's undergone a renaissance. I mean, his year last year was spectacular. Again, he had the little bit of regression, the Saudi Cup, and then coming back. But it looks like he's back on track. So, yeah, he's going to be a big threat the rest of the way.
All right, let's get to a couple others from Saratoga over the weekend. What do you want to do first here, Dan? The Test or the Oaks? What do you like? Dealer's choice.
Let's do – so I think we're scrapping the Oaks. Let's just do the Test. We'll look at the Test.
All right, check out the Test.
It is Illumination and Bella Sophia through a half in 45 3/5 seconds. And now they're in the stretch. Illumination closest to the rail with the lead. Bella Sophia is all out on the outside in second. And then Super Sensational and Search Results. And there's the move by Bella Sophia to take over the lead in deep stretch. A 16th to the finish. It is Bella Sophia with Super Sensational giving chase in second. Bella Sophia with a top-notch effort to win the Grade 1 Longines Test.
All right, heck of a run there. Lightly raced, Bella Sophia, 4th race, something like that, first Grade 1 win. Nice win there the other day.
Yeah, spectacular. I was just sitting here with my man Justin. We're talking, and I didn't realize this. Her only loss was in the Jersey Girl Stakes. She took a ton of pressure early on, went super fast, and was still going to win, but got passed by a horse way on the outside who she probably didn't even see coming. But anytime, she's had to stare down a horse. I mean, she'd not let them gone by. This was the big test, no pun intended. Grade 1 at Saratoga, tough field, and she passed it with flying colors. So I mean, winning a Grade 1 like the Test at Saratoga, your 4th career start, there could be big things ahead for her. So this is a lightly raced 3-year-old, big things ahead for her.
All right, you spent the weekend out there. I saw opening weekend. You spent the weekend out there. How's the track playing? What's your just general sense of how the track is played here over the weekend, where we had this, obviously this big slate of races over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, with the dirt races, and so in this race in particular, so the sprint, right? It's a sprint race. They're going 7 furlongs. Obviously, she had a tactical advantage there because there was some speed to her inside, but being set to the outside, she didn't take all that outside pressure, made the move, and sat in a good position throughout. I think for most of this weekend, you had to be first or second flight, especially in the dirt races. I think both sprinting and going long. And if you weren't, it was really tough to make a sustained move from way off the pace. I think both turf courses are playing pretty fair. I didn't notice any pronounced biases. I mean, we saw a couple of races yesterday where horses tried to go to the lead and kind of kick away. One of them did. Con Lima as you mentioned, the Saratoga Oaks, was, beautifully handled by Flavian Pratt. Went to the front, settled down, but she was good enough, and she held on. I think with some others who aren't quite that level, you can't go to the front and just steal a race, go in crazy fractions. So, but just like any other race, I think if you're not taking pressure, you're in a better position. But yeah, all that. Long story short, I think speed has been great on the dirt, and maybe less so on the turf. I think that both turf courses are playing pretty fair.
All right, take a quick break. We'll get some more stories from Dan, who is still in Saratoga, and we will definitely answer this question: why is Dan wearing an Expos hat? But first, bet your favorite tracks online with Naira Bets, available nationwide in 30 states. Naira Bets offers best-in-class HD live video and replays, online contests to compete with other Naira Bets players, exclusive promotions to give back more, and expert picks and analysis. With an easy-to-use, free-to-download app, betting horse racing online has never been easier and safer. So sign up for Naira Bets now to earn a $200 sign-up bonus with promo code ABR200. And welcome back to the Winner's Circle. I'm Bram Weinstein with Dan Torgman, who is up in Saratoga this week. That's the background you see there. Joseph also adds that he loves the Expo hat that Dan is wearing today. Why did you pull out a Montreal Expos hat, Dan?
It's funny. First of all, I've always thought it was like the coolest logo. I mean, simple as that.
Yep.
It was the coolest logo, coolest hat. And then, yeah, there are so many Expos. Like my favorite, I won't say my favorite all-time player, because I guess now when I look back, Mike Piazza is probably my favorite all-time player. My second favorite all-time player and all-time Met is Gary Carter. And so being a kid, I mean, having Gary Carter cards, having his rookie card, those Expos colors, seeing him there, and then obviously he becomes a Met and becomes this superstar, win a World Series. And then, like, in the comments, Rusty Staub, Le Grand Orange. Like, I mean, the big orange, right? Like, he, was also kind of tied into the Mets franchise. So there's a lot of symmetry. There's a lot of, like, interweaving there. And obviously, those late Expo teams with Pedro, Vlad, I mean, those were just classic teams. I mean, the 94 team, of course, the strike team was... look at your face. You're still like, I don't. What do you mean? You're a Mets fan?
I didn't expect such a just explicit answer to this. I was just kind of like, I liked the hat. It felt classic. I'm in Saratoga, and up in this part of New York, you'll see a lot of Canadian flags because they try to welcome the tourism. I don't know. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. No, there is. I think I've seen a lot of people here who've been like, oh my God, the Expos. Like they're like because this is like you do have a lot of people who are either from Montreal, or at least, I mean, we're close enough to Montreal that they're like, love that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Expos were awesome. It's like a classic franchise.
My team, the Washington Nationals, sold off most of their players a couple of weeks ago, and they've become the Expos again. For the first time in like a decade that they're back being the team that is not seriously going to compete for anything for a little while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, look, at this stage, I'd rather be the Nationals, having picked up prospects, than be the Mets. So it has not been a great 2-week stretch for us.
Over the weekend, it was funny. We were doing the live stream from the day with the Whitney and all the Saratoga Derby and all the other things that were going on over the weekend. And we went to Penelope Miller, who works for ABR, and she like showed the paddock area, did like a live report, and there's this like classic red and white stripes, and you get to see like the kind of the old school nature of it. There's just something about that place, Dan. I don't know what it is. I've kind of described it as horse racing heaven. It's my favorite track in the country. It's the short, the run. Every weekend matters. People are dressed up. It's got this old world feel. There's music. There's great food. The horses literally walk through, the crowd to get to the track. There's just something, I don't know. It's like, it's magic. It really is.
Yeah, and it's also like intertwined with the actual town itself. Like you go downtown, all the shops, all the restaurants, they've got horses on their logos, and they sell like horse gear and apparel, and you go to the restaurants and the menus have dishes named after horses and trainers and jockeys. It's like it's completely like the culture here is just so like enmeshed in like horse racing and horse racing history. It's a beautiful thing. Like if you are at all interested in horses or horse racing, this is the place to be. It's like, and especially now, I mean, this is like sort of like, think of it like visiting any like great, beautiful beach town, but on top of it, you could just gamble and watch beautiful horses all wherever you turn. So I mean, what's not to like?
Yeah. No, it's a blast. All right, let's get back to racing here. Let's go to the West Coast here and show you the La Jolla, the Grade 3. There was a wild finish there. So check this out. This is what happened to the Grade 3 La Jolla out at Del Mar.
The top of the lane in the La Jolla. Stiletto Boy gets a tap on the shoulder to go on with it. Sword Zorro looking dangerous in the white cap. Sword Zorro hooks out and comes to take on the leaders. Down the center of the track, we have Cascan Peak and Zoffarelli with a late run coming for home. Sword Zorro, here's Wi-Fire with a late run, suddenly wide open. Sword Zorro just in front, Zoffarelli. Sword Zorro, Zoffarelli close. Hudson Ridge finished third, then came Wi-Fire, Stiletto Boy and Cascan Peak.
So when I was first watching that, I didn't notice anything, but this is where you see it on the head-on here. And the controversy is you see the horse, the 6, coming out, but now the bumping starts, and they're all bumping each other. The horse in the middle is the 5, the horse on the outside is the 3. What did you say?
Ladies and gentlemen, please note, number 6, Sword Zorro, has been disqualified and moved back to third. The result becomes first, number 5, Zoffarelli. Second, number 3, Hudson Ridge. Third, number 6, Sword Zorro. Fourth, number 2, Wi-Fire.
You know, it's wild, like, because I didn't see it live, and I read a report, I read a report about it, and they're like, it was NASCAR, coming down there. And when you watch it in real time from the side angle and not the head on, it doesn't look like anything abnormal happened at all. I'm sitting there watching this going, what's the controversy? And then they like show the head on, and you're like, whoa, like, what did I miss here? It's wild looking.
Yeah, I didn't see anything watching it the first time. But I think the DQ was the right call. I mean, and I guess the question was, would you DQ both of those horses? Because the 5 certainly makes contact with the 3. So, I mean, how do you reward a horse who's just slamming into the horse next to him and really tried to make room where there was very little room and go through a very small hole? But there's no question that the big truck going by. There's no question that the 6, initiated most of that. And so I think they made the right call. By the way, we have a question here. This is an easy one. I can answer this one. When is the Canadian Triple Crown first legs? That's the Queen's Plate, August 22nd. Not this Sunday, the following Sunday. We'll be streaming live too for that.
You, I mean, if you're wearing an Expos hat and don't know the answer to that question, it's really disappointing.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I don't know when the second leg is, so don't ask me that.
Okay. Yeah, don't ask that question. We'll actually be doing a live stream the 21st. That's Pack Classic Day, right? Isn't that the day we're doing that one?
Yeah, we'll be streaming Breeders' Cup Live August 21st, Pacific Classic Day, Del Mar Handicap. Always an awesome betting day. Last year, we made a decent amount of money that day. We hit the Big 5 that day, group ticket. And then this year, again, back-to-back days now. It'll be the Queen's Plate on the 22nd. Queen's Plate's usually earlier. I mean, it's usually, end of July. So they've pushed back. They had to revise their stake schedule because they were a little delayed in opening due to COVID. So, but yeah, Woodbine's a lot of fun. I was talking to JD before the show. He was like, Sunday. He's like, yesterday's card was sick. He's like, it's like the average field size was 11 horses. Yeah. All these big turf races. Just so much fun to bet.
All right. I probably should ask you this off air, but I've been thinking about it this weekend. Are you going to Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup? Because I'm only skittish with pandemic-y stuff. So I wonder where you are on all of that.
At the moment, that's my plan. I mean, of course, things could change, right? As things are changing around us. So, but yeah, that's my plan. I'm planning on being there.
That's mine too for now. Mine too. I'm tentatively going to not be a snowflake and go. That's what tentatively. But, I think
it'll probably be, these things will be, it might be dictated for us. If it's not, I mean, if the option's there and we're not being told we can't go, in all likelihood I'll go. So we'll see.
All right. I had a big win over the weekend. I'm going to show you that next. But first, check this out.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
And welcome back to the Winner's Circle presented by Naira and Naira Bets. I'm Bram Weinstein with Dan Torgman. I've talked about this in the past on this show. I have been part of low investment syndicates in the past, and we've had our fair share of like little moments. But this one recently with Brilliant Racing, which was founded by Joe Christofak, who's a big friend of the show. You can see him in the paddock at Churchill Downs if you watch all the stuff that happens down there on Derby Day and all the other times. He used to be a frequent guest of this show. Asked me to join his group a few years ago in his first syndicate called Brilliant Racing. And we had 3 horses initially as part of the initial investment. And I have not even a hoof, but I have a piece of it. So I'm proud of it. And our first horse, Eskin for it, got to the Indiana Derby, like was and warranted, and was a long shot. And famously, and I have a picture of it somewhere, threw Julian Leparoux at the gate, but won the race, like got loose and won the race. Anyways, I have a picture of our loose horse winning the Indiana Derby. So that was like, well, this is the greatest moment we're going to have until we have this filly. Yes, it's Ginger. And slow start, some injuries, didn't really race much. When she started to, didn't really do anything. And this year became Knicks Go. Like, I don't know what happened, but she did. She has now won back-to-back stakes races, including one at Lone Star about a month ago called the Chicken Fried Stakes, which is good. So I got this made. Proud owner. Got this one made. This nice little, created saddle cloth, and then Ellis Park over the weekend. So check this out.
Wait, do you sleep with that? Is that like a little extra like blanket?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
All my pillows are made of this now. Yeah.
Home stretch. Yes, it's Ginger. Comes calling for the lead. LZ to the inside. These two matching strides. To the inside, Ambassador Luna third. Down the center, Skinny Dip. Last chance for love. 1/16 left. Here comes Ginger. And yes, it's Ginger. Putting away LZ down to the wire. It's Ginger. She's going to win it. She's going to take the Kentucky Downs TVG Preview Ladies Sprint and stop the timer in 1 minute, 0.71 seconds.
Yeah, she's a sprinter. She's like a 5 to 6 furlong sprinter, and she goes wire to wire in these races. She is Knicks Go. So she gets out in front. No one can catch her. Anyone pressures her. She hits the gas pedal. It is amazing, Dan, to be like, that's my horse.
Nets Go. Yeah.
Nets Go. She's Nets Go.
That's awesome, man. No, that's like, look, that's such an awesome. So I think I've told you this before. I owned in partnership for a little while. It's been a couple of years now, but I remember also like just being and these are stakes races you're winning, which I can imagine is like, just so much more thrilling.
That was a $100,000 stakes race yesterday. The other one at Lone Star was up like $100,000 stakes race. Like all of a sudden our I think our investment's looking pretty good. I'll ask you about that in a minute, but go on.
No, yeah, we got into some claiming horses that were, we claimed for like 30,000 and you own, 10% or whatever it is. And it doesn't matter though, when it's your horse and they're crossing whether you're racing for 10,000 or 30,000 or 100,000, it's just the best feeling. It also helps if you're like, well, I don't know how much money we're actually making as a small partner in this, but if you bet the horse, have you been betting on her when she's running?
I did yesterday. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I did yeah.
Tell us more about it. You want to show us your stacks?
As you know, I'm conservative. So, I didn't make as much as I probably should have yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw, so there's one guy on Twitter, Darren Zakali. I don't know if you know him. He posted a photo from, I think, Indiana Grand 2 weeks ago. His horse was running. Again, I think it was a pretty nondescript race. If it was a big race, I'm sorry, Darren. Either way, he posted a photo where this is like Indiana Grand on like a Tuesday. He singled his horse at like 15-1 and hit the pick 5 for like $60,000 because he singled his horse and then caught some other big prices around his horse. So that's what you got to do. You got to do, you just got to single your horse and hope you get some long shots around.
Yeah, well, we're not getting numbers like that on Ginger anymore. She's like been too consistent. She was 3-1, I think, the favorite yesterday, but I'll take it. So it was incredible. And this is the second straight time where she's done this at a stakes race. She just gets out in the front, and then anyone who comes near, she dusts them. It's like, it's awesome. So I don't know what's next, which does lead to the question of the investment part of it. So we should be flush with money now, right? Like multiple stakes winning. Like I could send an email and be like, show me some receipts. Like what's the bank account look like, right? I could do that if I wanted to.
We should bring Joe onto the show. Call him up now. We'll bring him in right now. We'll put his feet to the fire. What's going on, Joe? Where are these checks?
Like, this is a full-on success story. We didn't spend a ton of money on it. I know what we paid to acquire her in the first place, and I know it took a while to come around to this, but I don't think anybody was talking about multiple stakes winning horse who's probably going to go to Kentucky Downs at some point now. So show me the money, Joe Christopher. What's up?
Well, that's where, Kentucky Downs, you'll probably be making more money in allowance races than you are in these stakes races. That's where you want to go. That's a good spot.
If she wins them.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right.
Are you
last
thing. Down? You got to go.
Huh?
You should go down for that to Kentucky Downs.
I should. You're right. I should go down for that. But I also, I do think it's reasonable to ask, how much money have I made here? Right? Because if your horse is winning stakes races and you're not making money on it, I appreciate the thrill, but like at some point, isn't that supposed to be the point of it? Like that's right.
Maybe
not. You don't know. I don't know the finances. I'm an owner and I don't know the finances of it. So
I told you it's been a couple of years since I've owned horses. Read into that what you will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Last thing for you. I am off to New England this week as the preseason officially begins this weekend. This week in the NFL, I call the games for the Washington football team, and they open with the Patriots on Thursday night. So that goes around the league. So football season's here, Dan. Pumped? You ready? You ready to go?
Yeah, I need to do my homework. All I know is that there's a quarterback controversy, I think, in New England.
No.
What do you know about? You don't think so, Cam? It's Cam all the way?
Cam's going to start. Yeah, Cam's going to start.
Okay.
Cam's going to start. We'll see how it goes. I think what's weird with them is Mac Jones is not Cam Newton. So good luck structuring an offense that works for both of them. Like that sounds ridiculous. Yeah. So I don't know. So we'll see.
But hey, like Tom Brady, what seemed for a minute there a less attractive option than Drew Bledsoe. And
yes, but at least they are two basically immobile, tall white guys. Like Mac Jones falls into that category of statuesque, like pocket quarterback. Cam Newton is not that. If you're going to win with him, you're going to utilize all of his different skills. So I don't know. Oh,
look, Dustin coming through for Mac Jones here. 12 for 17 with 2 drops. I think it's closer than most people think, he says.
So. 12 for 17 with 2 drops in what? They haven't played a preseason game yet. Like, what are you talking about? In practice?
So they haven't
played in a 7-on-7 drill? Like, what are you talking about?
All right, you got to let us know. He's actually, it seems like I would read from this that he's more of an Eagles or Steelers fan. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Now we got, I'm excited about it. We got football's here. As you know, these are my 2 loves, horse racing and football. So this is like best time of year for me. We get these big summer races heading into the Breeders' Cup, and then football season starts. Best time of year for me.
We talked about travel to the Breeders' Cup. I know last year you couldn't really travel. Is more travel planned for this year? And
we are for now. We did not, obviously last year, no vaccines. Last year we didn't go to the games, the away games. We called everything from the stadium. So the home games, nobody there, but at least it was live in front of us. And then the away games we called from the stadium basically because it's piped in with all the different angles. So we could, see what we would normally see in a booth. We just weren't at the game itself. This year we're traveling. So I'm going to Foxborough on Thursday. We're going to call the game there. And I'm hoping things don't change. Right now the protocols are what they are, and hopefully we'll be there.
Dustin clarified that was a scrimmage.
Yeah. Again. Oh, he's 12 for 17 in a scrimmage. Oh, congratulations. Where, let me guess, he wore a jersey where the other team wasn't allowed to touch him. Okay, cool. I'm sure that was good. Oh, look at this one, Dan. Look at this one.
this is a good plan. Washington football team Halloween road trip in Denver, then Breeders' Cup with all the Weinstein cash dollars.
That's right.
Kentucky Downs.
That's right. Yeah, the Breeders' Cup this year, the football gods and schedule makers did me a favor. The Washington football team bye week happens to be Breeders' Cup weekend, which is why I can go out there. Worked out that way. And they are playing in Denver the week before, which led me to think initially, do I just go from Denver to San Diego and not back to Washington before I go back across the country again? But, you know, skittish Delta snowflake over here is kind of like, I don't know about being masked up in foreign territories for a week and a half. Like, that sounds a little crazy to me.
Also, what are your like expectations at home? Like, I mean, you know,
that
like,
my kids will, you know, see me. Yeah, that's my expectations.
Are you wanted at all? Do they want you to return?
That's an interesting question that I'm not going to answer here. Am I wanted at home? I'm going to answer that on another day, on another show that's not about horse racing. I'll answer that question.
Very good. That's a good note to close on.
Yeah. All right, Dan, what are you heading back to New York soon? Or are you sticking around?
Yeah, as soon as we wrap up here, we're probably going to hop in the car. We got about, I don't know, 3.5, 4 hours ahead of us. So.
Is that what it is? To New York from there?
I mean, Marty keeps saying we could do it in 3, but I think it's, I mean, for us, like the other day, actually, we hit traffic coming out of the city. It took almost 5, but yeah.
Jeez.
It is a quick trip. Yeah.
Good luck. Switch the hat back for a Mets hat when you get back to the home state, right?
They have to win again. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. That'll do it for us. As always, the Winner's Circle is presented by America's Day at the Races, the official live broadcast partner of Aqueduct Racetrack, Belmont Park, Saratoga Racecourse, and tracks nationwide. For Dan, I'm Bram. We'll see you next week.